And this gives a whole new meaning to showing someone a house. Let's say I'm a real estate agent, I would now have to walk through every room of the house and show you the features via FaceTime. Fast forward to today, and you won't find very many trees above 6 feet, with the rest of the inventory being no taller than myself. Last week, a body was found in these woods right behind me. And as you can see, these woods are very dense, and visibility becomes nearly impossible after about 100 feet in. I'm at Trinity Baptist Church in Casey, South Carolina, where moments ago a press conference was held to update the media on the ongoing case of the death of Faye Marie Swetlick. Coach Borrego is confident that his team will be able to fight through the adversity. Christ Within Church finds itself empty due to the coronavirus, and churches across the country are learning how to worship as a community while staying apart. Thanks, Will, and as you said, parks are going to be closed in Columbia and actually here in Charlotte as well, but Charlie doesn't seem to understand this. Dogs don't get the whole social distancing thing. And the weather certainly isn't helping, as today will be almost perfect. Let's take a look. After a heartbreaking loss at the hands of the Florida Gators last week, the South Carolina Gamecocks travel to Neyland Stadium as they hope to reignite their winning streak as they take on the Tennessee Volunteers. Last week, a body was found in these woods right behind me. And as you can see, these woods are very dense, and visibility becomes nearly impossible after about 100 feet in. Yesterday, the Lexington County Coroner's Office confirmed the body to be 22-year-old Taylor Devin Johnson.
There's no trauma to the remains that we found to indicate foul play or an indication of how he passed away.
Hunters found Johnson's remains on February 15th in a wooded area near Martin Smith Road in Leesville. Johnson was last seen by his father in late May of 2016 and was reported missing 3 days later. He was walking along Pond Branch Road near a Dollar General in Gilbert, South Carolina. His family believes he was walking to his ex-girlfriend's house at the time, but he never made it.
Batesburg-Leesville is a very close community. A lot of people cared about Mr. Johnson, and we poured every effort into it that we could.
According to Lexington County Sheriff Jay Kuhn, investigators found a wallet containing Johnson's identification near his remains.
I'm fortunate in this career that sometimes you don't get the answers that the public wants. No matter how hard we try or what we do, sometimes it just can't be done with a lack of evidence to point us in a direction.
Coroner Margaret Fisher has yet to determine how or when Johnson died. And according to Sheriff Jay Kuhn, Johnson's death still remains an open investigation. For Carolina News, I'm Jack Taylor. While it seems as though the world has reached a virtual standstill, some people are still trying to change the home they have to stay in. Joan Good is a licensed broker in North and South Carolina for Dickens Mitchener Residential Real Estate, where she has worked for 15 years. And now she has to help people find their dream home without allowing them to step foot in it.
Well, it certainly is different, and thank heavens for technology. We are touring homes virtually.
And this gives a whole new meaning to showing someone a house. Let's say I'm a real estate agent, I would now have to walk through every room of the house and show you the features via FaceTime. And while Joan believes that these virtual tours are not as impactful as seeing a house with your own eyes, she does not anticipate any problems with selling her listings.
Low interest rates are driving that, and a shortage of inventory is also driving that, because if you have to move, you're going to pick from what's out there.
Dickens Mitchener and other real estate agencies alike expect a heavy backlog of buyers and sellers once the ordinance is lifted. And those waiting for their dream home can only dream while staying at home. Reporting in Charlotte, North Carolina for Carolina News, I'm Jack Taylor. It was another great win here at the Spectrum Center as the Charlotte Hornets would defeat the Sacramento Kings 110-102. The Hornets were able to pull away in the fourth quarter thanks to double-double performances from Malik Monk and Bismack Biyombo. Malik Monk had only 9 points going into the fourth quarter. He was able to get 23 and be the leading scorer for the Hornets, as well as 10 boards in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, we playing free. People say we're going to be the worst team in the NBA, man, so we have nothing to worry about. We out there playing free and just doing that what makes best for us and what helps our career too. So we just got to come out there and continue to do the same thing, man. Like I said, it's free. We playing free. We playing for everybody. We playing for each other. So it's kind of easy to not look and not focus on winning and win. So we just got to continue to do that.
Coach Borrego is confident in his team and says that all of his players have improved throughout the season.
You know, our defense is trending the right way. I think we can see that. We can feel it as a team. There's real ownership about our defense right now. Nothing easy. That's really been the key to this last 4, 5, 6 game run for us, that there's just more attention to that end of the floor, more physicality, more defense. I mean, again, we won the board in a big way tonight. We won the board 51-33. We did it the other night. Our defense is picking up. Just proud of our guys that they've locked into that end of the floor. They've really bought in.
And Malik Monk thinks that at that time in the game, they just needed something to happen. So Monk decided he had to be that guy, and he put it on in the fourth quarter.
People weren't making shots. A lot of people was missing. We were all missing, actually. So somebody needed to step up, and I was able to do that tonight.
And the Hornets look to continue that momentum as they travel to Cleveland tomorrow night to take on the Cavaliers. Donald Trump signed an $8 billion emergency coronavirus funding package into law this morning. The spending bill will put billions of dollars toward prevention efforts and research in hopes to find a vaccine for the virus quickly. President Trump originally planned to sign the bill at the Atlanta headquarters of the CDC today, but suddenly canceled the trip. He told reporters that it was due to a suspected case of coronavirus with a staff member.
Yesterday afternoon, we were informed that there may have been a person with the virus, and they now find out that that was negative test.
The president said he plans to still visit the headquarters if he can during his trip around the Southeast later today. The grassroots group SC4ED announced their plan to have another all-out event at the State House on March 24th. This comes just a day after the Senate passed the S419 education bill. SC4ED held a rally last year on May 1st with around 10,000 people in attendance in hopes of pushing legislation forward. However, teachers in South Carolina say they still feel unheard on issues such as lack of funding and teachers' rights. The Department of Juvenile Justice on Broad River has only 19 days remaining to make big changes or face a lawsuit from the Attorney General's office. This deadline is the result of a 2-year investigation by the U.S. Department of Justice that found the facility in violation of the 14th Amendment rights. The report found that the youth at the complex were placed in extended periods of isolation and weren't protected from youth-on-youth violence. DJJ says they are doing whatever it takes to right the ship. While the coronavirus may affect the March Madness tournament and the Olympics, Washington, D.C. will be out in full bloom this March. Washington, D.C.'s annual Cherry Blossom Festival attracts nearly 500,000 people each year. And despite large organizations like the NCAA and the IOC trying to prevent us, U.S. citizens, from traveling, D.C. is happy to welcome people from all parts of the country. And D.C. has currently had no confirmed cases of coronavirus, and they will look forward to the festivities. Hockey got a win over Clemson a couple weeks back, and it's always interesting when Garnet and Orange collide, and this weekend is no different. As Joseph reported on earlier tonight, the Palmetto Series kicks off as the Gamecocks host the Tigers. The two teams are neck and neck as USC comes in at 6-2 and Clemson sits at 7-1. And a win tonight will set either team on the right path to attempt and bring out the brooms and sweep the series. And now, while the season has just begun for Gamecock baseball, the competition is heating up as the indoor track and field team is coming to the end of theirs. Now, even in the middle of February, the warm weather is rampant in College Station, Texas, and the men and women of the indoor track and field teams certainly aren't helping, as they are currently bringing the heat to the SEC Indoor Championships today and tomorrow. The men and women's teams look to improve upon their 10th overall and 12th overall finishes respectively in last year's championship, and they're off to a good start as freshman Elisha Brooks finished third in the 60-meter dash. And Cedar Quincy Hall looks to continue his reign as the SEC 400-meter champ. And after recording the 5th fastest time in the country in his last run, he's certainly on the right track. Now, last night, the Gamecock women's basketball team proved yet again that they are a dominant force in the NCAA, in case anyone still needed convincing. The Gamecocks traveled to Gainesville, where the Gators look to upset a ranked SEC opponent for the 3rd time this month. But Dawn Staley's team are a different beast. Attempting their best Quincy Hall impression, Kiki Herbert-Harrigan and her squad hit the ground running out of the gates and never stopped. Defeating the Gators 100-67, the Gamecocks hit the century mark on the road for the first time in team history. With 22 consecutive wins, the Gamecocks matched their program record as they notched the same amount of wins in the 2015-2016 season. And the Gamecocks return home Sunday to take on number 12 Texas A&M for their senior day as they look to carry this momentum to the finish of the season.
We're at home. It's senior day. We want to send Ty and Kiki off as they came in with the bang, and obviously in order for us to do that is to come together one more time in our place.